Praggnanandhaa versus Alireza. Can anyone tell me about Alireza? What ranking he is in? कुछ तो बोलो. Okay, so he is like one of the top 10 in world, and he is also at one time he was told to be in world best place. So जो बंदा है ना मतलब वर्ल्ड के लिए कंटेंडर बन सकता है बल्कि मैग्नस कार्लसन खुद बोला था क्योंकि वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप कंटेंडर बन सकता है अभी दिस गेम विल शो यू what strength Alireza is. Okay, so he missed the win but he actually played good chess, so this you will see. So अभी क्या बोल रहे हैं अपन रुद्रा जी ने पोजीशन रख रहे ठीक है अभी कौन कौन है वहां पे तुम्हारे स्ट्रेंथ के नजदीक के कौन है बुला लो मतलब और एक बोर्ड तो ठीक है नारायण बैठ जाओ बस उसे बोर्ड रखता हूँ है ना हमेशा ये हम लोग रखते नहीं One second, I will stop at the position. I will tell you exactly where you. Okay, so you can keep this position, and we can start. Yeah, you can keep this position. King E1. King E1, Rook H1, Rook C1, Bishop F1, Knight E2, Queen A3, H2 G2 F2, E3 D4, A2 B2. Black, King G8, Q E7. Rook F8, Rook A8, Knight D7, Bishop E6, A7, B6, C5, D5, F7, G7, S7. K G8, Q E7, Bishop E6, Knight D7, yeah, Rook F8, Rook A8. So here white played G3, right? So black played Bishop F5. Why did black play Bishop F5? Yeah, idea is Bishop E4. So white played Bishop G2. Now, okay. So the black's best move, but she showed the idea already. So black played Bishop E4. Can you tell me the reason behind Bishop E4?
Because if white exchanges bishop, then his light squares will get weak.
Very good. So this is what we have talked before also, right? Color strategy. So who is the best? So after G3, what happened? E4. So these squares, right? These squares E4, F3, G2, H3, right? These are the squares which are weak. And who is the main defender for this square? Bishop. So what we do? Exchange of the important defender of those light squares, right? So this is what this strategy was used by Alireza. So when white played Bishop G2, what did he play?
Bishop E4.
Bishop E4, right? Castles. What will black do now? Bishop into G2. So king into G2. Then what are the light squares which are weak now? S3, G2, F3, E4, right? Right. So what we should do now? How we should play? What we will do with the light squares? We place our pieces on the light squares, right? So how can we try to place our pieces on the light squares? Huh? Queen e4. But when you play queen e4, what will happen? F3 will come. So is it good for you? E3 becomes weak, but white also will try to play e4, right? He will play rook e1, knight c3 and e4. Right? Not directly because c5 is there. Okay. So that is unnecessary. I mean, directly queen e4 is not so good. Right? So when you say it is a weakness, e3 is a weakness, will play rook f8, idea queen e4. Then he can't play f3. Right? So black played rook f8. So good, you got this idea, right? Getting queen e4 first. So white played king g1 because queen e4 is coming. So now what will black play? Adya, what we will do with the light squares? When there is a weakness, what we will do? When the squares are weak.
We place the pieces on those squares.
Can you tell loudly?
We place the pieces on those squares.
Yes, we place our pieces on those squares. Why do we place our pieces on the weak squares? Because they are empty, right? Yes or no? When the weak squares means the squares which are right, which cannot be attacked, right? So what we can do with those weak squares, we can place our pieces on those squares, and control the corresponding squares. I mean, control the neighbor squares, right? So the dark squares will also be weak. So your idea for rook f8, what you said, what was our idea? Queen e4, no. So why did he play king g1? Yeah, so it is a prophylactic move, right? So now you can play queen e4, right? So why you are thinking so much? So queen e4, white played queen b3, black played c4, queen c2. So should we exchange or not exchange the queens? Why we should not exchange already? Very good. So she said the king is weak, so we can attack. So better non-exchange, right? So when we are attacking, we should not exchange the queens, right? And because there is a lot of weak squares, right? So the white king is weak, so we can. So what we can do? We should not exchange the queen. So what we can do now? If we don't want to exchange, yes, where we will place the queen? Queen f3. So white played knight c3. Black played a6. Not allowing some counter play with knight b5. So now black's idea is b5. Okay. So seeing that, white played a4. But see, one thing is here you have to understand. Okay. Because now the problem is not about b5. Okay. The other problem is this e4 square also goes away from white. Then it will be a lot of light. So there is a light square weakness, right? He has to break it. He has to do something. He has to do a counter play. So what counter play we can do now? So white played a4. Instead of a4, what we can do? When you are the defending side of this position, right, what you will try to do? Rook e1 e4, very good plan. But why will opponent wait for you? When you play rook e1, when you are showing your intentions clearly that I want to play e4.
90.
So what you will do?
Knight
Knight f6. See, one thing, whenever your position is bad, we have talked about this before also. What we have to do?
Exchange pieces to change the dynamics.
Exchange. When your position is bad, you exchange the pieces, right? That is one thing. What else? Exchange pieces for what reason?
To change the dynamics of the position.
Yes, very good. Exact wording, right? So exchange pieces to change the dynamics of the position, right? That is one thing. What is the other thing we have talked about? Most powerful tool when you have bad positions. Bad position is like it is a long-term weakness. You have light scale weakness. Now black has clear plans. Like you will get the knight to f6, you will get rook e6, you will try to attack on your weak king. So you should do something, or else you slowly lose. Right? So what you will do in such positions? Do counterplay. Give pawn breaks, and we have talked about many times, right? So what pawn breaks we have here? So regarding exchange queens, exchange the pieces, you have only one exchange. So your king is weak, so you will try to exchange. Okay, you will try to exchange or do something. So with queen e2. The other thing what you can do, b3 is one pawn break, or you play e4. So what is the? Can you tell me about e4? If I play c4, what happens? If d into e4. Very good, Sarvanya. Yes, e4, d into e4, knight d5. Then, what is the idea of knight d5? Yes, knight c7. Then what will black try to do? Rook a8. Then, rook a8 force, no, defending the c4 pawn. Then what? So e4, d into e4, knight d5, rook a8, then what? Queen? Well, how you will play king b3?
Not queen b3, only b3.
Queen?
Not queen b3, so direct b3. Pawn
Direct b3. But why you need to play b3? Acha, q into c8 if c into b3. But here you can play queen a4, no? If you play b3, what happens? What will opponent do? He will take c into b3. Come and take q into c8. Yes. If you play b3, black will play b5. So here q in a4 is there. If q in a4, what will black play? Can he defend his knight and pawn on a6? Knight b8 means knight into b6, no? So you have a good counter play. This is what Praggnanandhaa missed. Okay. So he has to do what? He can play b3 or queen e2 or e4. Right? When you have bad positions, you should try to change the dynamics of the position. But he stopped the idea. He thought, okay, black wants to play b5, so white played a4. Right? What will black do?
Knight f6.
Yes, I have told Rudra. Right? Black will play knight f6. Why knight f6?
Sir, knight e4. Rook kd and then knight e4.
Taking the control of the light squares and not allowing your opponent to push e4. Right? So knight f6 was played. Now white wants to again. Now he realized and Praggnanandhaa played queen d1. Right? Right move. Right? To exchange the queens. So what we should do? We should exchange of the queens. Right?
No.
And we are playing with higher rated, exchange the queens. That is one principle we have to follow, right? We have to play on the position. So should we exchange the queens now?
No, sir.
No. Right? So what we should do?
Queen f5.
Queen f5. That was what exactly Alireza played. So you all are playing like GM now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So king g2. Now black to play. Now slowly he is trying. So what is black doing? Sorry, what is white doing? White is with king g2. White is trying to control the light squares, right? Their weaknesses. So here black played queen d7. What is the idea of queen d7?
Knight e4.
For knight e4, why are you play queen d7? I can play directly knight e4.
Sir,
b5, right? One is b5. But what happens if I play knight e4 here? Associate the knight e4. So if knight e4, what happens? Let's say I play knight e4. Now what happens? What will white play? See why he is trying to play b5 here? Can you tell me?
Because so that he can get b4 and control the e4 square.
Very good. He wants to control the e4 square. So first to take out this. So what we have to do? Who is the important defender of the lights? I mean, like here e4 square, the knight. So he has to remove right the knight. But when you exchange off, exchanging off, what happens? At last there will be a light square weakness, but no pieces left to cover the light squares, right? So we have to remove this knight. So the good way is b5 and b4. This is what he is doing. Understood? So if you play directly knight e4, well, immediately white doesn't have to exchange also. White can play queen c2, no?
He can take knight e4, queen e4 and queen f3.
Yeah, knight e4, queen e4, queen f3 can also. So not much advantage, right? All the light square weaknesses also gone now. Right? Maybe black has advantage, but not sure. So when we are attacking, we don't exchange the pieces, right? So not only about the attack, when we have space advantage, here black has space advantage, then we don't exchange the pieces, and also opponent has light square weakness. So one advantage you have, right? So we try to maintain the pieces. Okay. So the great idea is queen d7. Idea is b5. So white played b3. So let's say white plays rook a1. Can you play b5 now? If you play b5, what happens? I am talking about rook a1. If white plays rook a1, black plays b5, then ab5. Yes. And also there is one beautiful move for white. What he can play? How can I stop opponent to play b4?
Sir, we play b4.
Directly we will play b4. Very good. Okay. Because you have counter play. If black takes rook a1, right? Then 8% chance gone, right? So and if you play CB3, then you are good. So B4, opponent has a passed pawn, I agree, but our knight is on C3. And the more important thing was stopping B4 here. Okay. So obviously black has advantage because of this passed pawn, but at least he can retain the position, right? He can sustain some time. But yes, while black has a good advantage. So here Queen D7, white played B3. Okay, trying to give a pawn break. So what is a good move for black? What are the candidate moves here? Yes, Rudra.
The kind and rules are you can play b5 to maintain the pass pawn or take the b3 pawn to open 5.
Yes.
For the rook.
Right. So what is best?
We can play b5.
Yes, very good. That was the move Alireza played. B5. B into C4. See, when you think this is what you some moves at least you will play like GM only. So Alireza did not do something extraordinary, right? He played normally like how we play. But what he did, if you see, he made prophylactic moves. He stopped opponent ideas and he made his own ideas. He got a good position. He is not leaving. That's what GMs do when they have good positions. They will stop opponent ideas, okay, and the advantage, whatever the long-term weakness they have, the long-term advantage they have, they will try to maintain it, and slowly, like Python, how he, kills a person the same way, slowly they will kill the opponent, right? Yes or no? So this is how we can learn in this game, right? So black took D into C4. White played rook b1. And what should black play? What is the idea of rook b1?
Sir, it could be b5.
So what should black do now?
Sir,
Rook b8. Rook b8 was played. A b5. A b5. Who has advantage, white or black? Black, why?
Sir, 2 passes.
2 passes. So white played rook b4. Now black to play. What is a good move for black? So black played queen d6. White played queen d1. Now black to play. What is the best move for black? Huh? 95. Why 95?
Because b5 is landing and
Yes. And we are removing the important blockader. Who is blocking our pawn? Who is the best blocker for pass pawns?
Knight.
The knight. So what we should do? Exchange the knights, right? So knight d5, knight into d5, queen into d5. See, you have to understand slowly, okay? Black had long-term advantage, right? Black has good advantage on the light squares. From the time he played bishop f5, bishop e4, right? From there to now, what Black did not miss? Constantly he is keeping the pressure and he is enjoying the advantage, right? And White did one mistake on a4, he sees the advantage, right? So this is a very instructive game if you see. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. King g1. Now again, Black to play. How should you play this?
Sir, rook c8.
Okay. Take a minute, see the position, and then tell me the plan. Tell me, Adya. Tell me one plan. What do you want to do? Okay, sir, with me. Then.
Sir, we should play rook c8 to play c3 and c2.
Yes, that is one plan. Okay. But you should, okay, you tell me.
I was saying that on black calculated rook e8, rook c1,
Right.
c3, if he plays queen a1, this has a limited attack upon queen a6, queen a3, rook c4 is also black queen a3.
Okay. So rook c8, so you said rook c8, right? And white plays rook c1. Then what you will do?
I said c3.
Okay. If you play c3, what will happen? What will white play now? So let's say I play rook b3. You lose the pawn, right? So, and this is one basic mistake we do. Okay. See, you brought the opponent pieces to the queen side. Yes. Now you are pushing the pawns. Opponent is defending well. So what is happening when the defending side has to keep defending. Okay. I mean his pieces are stuck now. Rook b4 and queen on b1. So you can't progress much because you will lose. That will be hanging pawn. You should push c3. So you should calculate. I am not saying like you should push, but try to think that side. But it is not happening much. One thing is the weakness is still there. This f2, you see the pawn structure, right? Still is there. What will be better? In the same pawn structure,
Rook a6, rook h6,
rook e6, rook s6 good.
queen e4.
Queen e4. And how about the pawn on s3? You will directly checkmate queen g2. So anytime you have this, we have talked about the Harry pawn, right? The Harry will go for the attack. H for Harry, we have talked about this, yes or no? So when which positions it will come? When, the white pawn is?
G3 is pushed.
Right. When this structure F2, G3, H2 is there, right? In your variations of Taimanov, we get it, right? Okay, no, not that much. I mean, like in your Jobava when black plays G6, you get H4, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? No? Yeah, in London system, when Jobava, London system get converted to D4, knight F6, you play bishop F4, when black plays G6, do you not play knight C3?
Yeah.
That is converted to Jobava only, okay? So when it converts to Jobava, one line is you, whenever the G6, S7, the financial setup is there, you can go H5. So here black pieces, white pieces are not there on the king side. So what do you do? Right, one plan can be just push the pawn. Okay, you are clearing the back rank. One thing is I am clearing the back rank. Also I am trying to play H5, H4. Right? So black played H5, good move. And now what happened? White panicked little bit. Actually he could have played H3. H3, H4, G4 would have been little bit better. But he played H4. So this is, I will say, one of the blunders, right? What will black play?
G5.
G5. Immediately your attack is progressing. G5 and G5?
Queen
Huh? If G5, H5,
G5.
Queen?
G5.
Sorry, Queen, not Queen G5. Okay. Yeah, you can take Queen G5. But actually, instead of Queen G5, I can play H4, right?
Yes.
H4 and then
It is same like in Sicilian structures, you play H4, H5, right? Sacrificing the pawns. Two pawns we sacrifice, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
H5, GH5, then we give away the G4 pawn also, right? And to keep the attack. So what we are doing, we are opening up the lines. If GH4, what happens?
Sir, rook E4.
Very good. So GH4, rook E4. So H4, I think that was a blunder. H4 was a blunder. So black played G5, right? And this is white took H5. What did black play now?
H4.
H4. So this was missed. Okay, so white played Q1. Now H3 he will defend, no? H3 what will happen?
F3.
we can just put maybe G5 idea.
If you play H3, white will simply play F3, right?
Yes.
That is the reason of Q1. Okay.
I think we should just put G5 idea actually.
Yes, Q into G5 and continue. But do you really need? What is the idea in GH4? What do you want to play?
E4.
Yes, so the plan is there, no, already. So do you really need to take Q G5?
No, sir.
When you are attacking, what is the main important thing to do?
No, sir.
Can you tell it loudly?
Bring all your pieces.
So what do I say?
Rook E4.
Bring all your pieces.
Yes, but I use some phrase, no? What is it?
Yeah.
Let everyone join the party, right? So bring that, no? So what we can do? King G7, Rook H8. Okay, that can be one idea. What else? Yeah, Rook?
B6.
Rook B6 is correct. Because your rook, one rook which is not in attack is the rook on B8. So black can simply play Rook B6. Right? He can go Rook E6 also, but Rook E6 is, Rook E8 is there to go to E4, right? So just to bring all the pieces into attack. So Rook B6 idea, Rook G6 would have been great. And whenever it takes GH4, I have Rook E4. So let's see this now. GH4, if I play Rook E4, but if I play Rook E4, what is happening? F3 is coming, right? So stop first. So Queen F3. Now Rook E4. So I think this idea might have been missed by Queen F3 idea might have been missed, and he took Q into G5. So this was what we could have done. GH4, If gh4, queen f3, stopping f3. So the idea for queen e1 was to play f3, right, after gh4. But what we can do after gh4, immediately we can the idea was gh4, if you play rook e4, f3 is coming. But gh4, you could have played queen f3 first, not allowing, right, f3, and idea rook e4. So, but black took queen into g5, this is also good. White played e4. Here, what should black do again? Yes, the same thing, rook b6. Now, actually, the rook e4 is not coming, right? So, rook e6 also can be played, rook b6 also can be played. Both are good. So, so the idea is simple. I want to play. So, how you will continue on that? I have both rook g6 and rook s6, right? So, let's say white if white doesn't play, okay, let's say white plays king g2, then what will black play? I can directly bring the pieces into attack. No, I can play rook g6. So if king g2, what I can do? Yes, I can keep the pressure. No, so I have like rook e4 in middle. H3, f3, rook e4. Right? So he has to play e5 maybe. Now h3, f3. So h3, f3. Now this rook is what it is doing. Is it attacking? So what we can do with the rook A and bring the rook to attack, right? So my idea again is rook A3, rook A2. So rook A3 is rook A2 if something comes in between queen G3. So the attack is continuous. Here Alireza played inaccuracy. He played rook B8, attacking the hanging pawns. This was the crucial moment. Here rook B6, rook E6 was the winning moves. Also queen G4, right? Instead of rook B8, we have this right. Anything, I mean queen G4 also. Now you are directly getting the pawn. No, if you play F3, let's say F3 here, what should black do? Exchange the queens. Queen to G3. Queen H3. But what is the idea of Queen H3? Just attack Queen G7, attack the D4 pawn, and our attack is continuous here now. So if white defends this pawn, then I have H into G3. The only thing we should not do is exchange the queens. Either Queen H3, we don't have much continuity. No, if I play Queen H3, then what will happen? White can play simply G4, no? Now what your queen is I mean you have to exchange the queens, right? So not much attack, right?
Yes.
So here queen G4 was there, rook B6 was there, rook E6 was there, right? This was also winning move, right? Instead of queen G4. So here rook E6, but yes, we miss sometimes. Okay. Now if white plays king G2, H3, F3, okay, can be.
H3.
H3, king into S3. Anything more?
King G2, rook H6.
Just keep the attack. No, same thing. Queen G4, F3. So attacking the E4. Now F3 is forced. Now again Queen G7, attacking the hanging pawns. So if he plays D5, then what happens? Rook A6, getting to the A5. So the attack is continuous. We have the advantage, right? Right or not? I have Rook A2. Now what happens? What will white do here? Let's go one move here. So here let's see for rook e6. Okay, rook e6. So I will play one of the defending moves. Okay, king g2, right? So stopping these ideas. Okay, covering the light squares and stopping h3, fg3. Okay, rook g6 idea. So preventing move king g2. Now I'm attacking queen g4. Okay, idea is So idea is queen into e4. I will take actually rook into e4. Okay. So force move f3. Yes. Or else I will take rook into e4. So f3. Now what I am doing? Queen g7 attacking the d5 pawn, d4 pawn. So I have two moves. e5. Right? Can I play e5 here? e5 is one move, but I will play h into g3. Now you can't take q into g3 because of rook g6. Right? Now d5 is one move, so d5 what will happen? I will go to the open file, rook a6. Idea is again rook a2. If you play rook f2, q into g3 is coming. Now how will you defend? You can't play rook b2 also, q into b2. So what you have after rook a6? So maybe g4. Okay, stopping this threats. Rook a2. What will queen f2? Queen f2. I was thinking, okay, queen f2. Then what will black play? Rook b8. Yes, rook b8 is one move. Or else I can play hg3. No, you can't play qg3. Why? Rook g6 is coming. So hg3 what will happen? So he has to play qd2. Now what other file has opened after hg3? Rook s6. Excellent, man. Rook s6. Idea rook h2. If I place rook h1,
Rook b6.
rook b6 is one move. Any other? This is like a tactic. Some simple tactic like woodpecker easy method I can say.
Queen f7.
Think for 37 seconds. Whenever there is a dynamic position, what you will start with? Look for checks. Checks capture threads, right? Huh? Continue. Rook h2. Again, can you tell? Okay, very good. Who is talking parallelly? Okay. So rook h2, h2, g into h2, king into h2, rook b6. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Man. So we saw the rook e6 variation, right? It is so rook e6 was winning. However, queen g4 is good. Agree, queen g4 is winning. What happens? Queen g4, what is forced? F3 is there. F3 is there. After F3, what you will play? Queen g7. Why we are not playing queen h3? G4 is coming. Queen g7 attacking d4 pawn. Then what is happening? E5 or d5. So if he plays d5, but I have queen d4, no. d5, what will happen? H into g3 first. If I play queen d4, queen d4 is coming. So h into g3. Now again, my idea is rook a8. I have queen d4, right? Good position, no?
Yes.
Yes. So what will I play? Let's say queen e3 here. Then rook
E5.
What is the idea of rook e5?
Rook h5.
Think. The position changed, no? Once you got the pawn on g3. So what is the threat?
Queen h7.
Rook a8 idea?
G2.
Okay, that is one thing. Queen?
h7.
Why?
Sir, queen h2.
Yes, okay. Huh? Huh? Okay, queen g6. Then?
Sir, rook e5.
See, when you play chess, you have to always play chess with multiple ideas. Okay, whenever you make a move, play with multiple ideas. With one idea, what happens? Opponent can stop. If you play queen h7, what is happening? Queen h2, one idea only, right? White will play rook b2, and it will stop. And also, other than rook b2, what he can play? Queen g5. Or else he can play queen d2 also, right? Queen g5, then what will happen?
King h8, queen f6.
King f8 you play, no? That is more simple. Acha, king h8 not allowing queen into g3. Okay. Then but queen f6.
That's what I'm saying.
So king f8. Sorry. Where was the question here? So if you play king f8, if queen into g3, then
You can try rook b6. Queen d6 plus
Yeah, rook b6 idea. You have to stop q d6 check, right?
So rook b6, white will play d6, then rook d6.
You have good advantage. But instead of q h7, see, don't allow this one, you know. Q h8 because you have q d4 check also. Now let's say q g5 check. You have king f8. Now if q into g3. So again the same thing, rook b6. Now it is more powerful. No, you don't have any checks also, and especially you don't have rook b2 also, and now you are getting rook g6. Good, no? So same thing. I mean, like you have the same idea of q h2 checkmate, but with q h8 it is more powerful. Good. So queen g4 was winning, rook e6 was winning, and I think in these three moves, I like rook b6. Okay, like so this rook is not in the attack. This rook and the queen both are in attack. So rook b6, let everyone join the party, and now we are getting rook g6. This is more powerful, right? Try to bring all the pieces into attack. Yes, sir. So okay, black played rook b d8. So what would you like to know? What we should do when our opponent is attacking?
Trade.
Huh?
Trade pieces.
So what piece you will trade?
B.
Okay, so how you will trade? What is the opponent threat first?
C4. D4.
D4, right? So what should I play?
Queen E3.
Queen E3. So that's what Praggnanandhaa played, Queen E3. So black took Queen into E3. F into E3. Now rook into E4. What do you think about this position? So what will white play? Yeah. So what do you think about the position? White is winning. Or black is winning. Why? Huh? What?
Equals plus.
Equals plus. You are talking like an Indian. Equals plus. So why you think black has initiative? Yes, black has slight advantage.
So because black is attacking
Tell only.
because black is attacking most of the pawns.
Yes. So white played rook into b5. Okay, what happens if rook into e3?
G into H.
That's what happened. So pawns went away. So rook into b5, there are no pawns on the board. So rook into e3, g into h4. Now it is again black to rook into d4. Right? Now black can try this. So rook b8 check. White played rook b8 check. King g7. Now white played rook b7. This is the problem. He is losing this pawn also. So rook g4 check. What should white play? King f2 or king h2? What happens if king h1? Hriday?
Rook h3.
So what are the options white has? King f2 or king h2?
Sir, king h2.
Why? What is the problem with king f2?
Sir, the rook f4 check and king cross e3, rook cross f1.
Then?
F7 is also not handy.
Acha.
King
So king f2 then rook g3.
Okay. So king f2. But I can simply play rook e5. No? Why I will check this? I can play simply rook e5 or rook e6.
Rook e6.
Sir, rook is because anytime king can move and rook f6 will come.
Right. Now I am threatening rook into h4. So rook e5 I am not allowing him to push also. Okay, so if white plays rook h1, let's say white plays rook h1, then what will black play?
Sir, rook e4.
Sir, rook h5.
Yeah, rook h5 and attack the weak pawn. No? Okay, the idea of rook e5 is I don't want him to push. If I play rook to e6, what can white do? One interesting variation is king f3, I think. If you take rook into h4, I can play king g3. And now f7 is falling. Okay. So in rook e5, if white plays king f3, then what can black do? Still I can't take. So I have to play rook g6. Okay. So it is. So here in this position, white played king h2. Black played. So king f2 is playable also. King f2 is also playable, but king h2 is easy draw. Okay, because we are forcing on f7. Okay. So if black plays rook e5 or rook e6, white can play king f3. And if you take rook into h4, king g3 is coming. So you have to play rook ge4, right? And the game continues. It is almost a draw, right? It is not easy to win, right or not? So king h2 was played, black played rook into h4 check, and they agreed to draw a few moves. Okay. So king g2, sorry, rook g4 check, king h2, king g6. Oh. Okay. So now, which rook to go? So any rook, okay, rook b into f7, rook g5. So rook f8, c3. So rook 1 f2. Now black played rook e4. So what do you think of this ending? Why not? Did you exchange the rooks over? What do you like play? What is the threat of rook e4? So what do you like play now?
Look at it.
Rook g8. So if you play, so what you have king s7, s6, h5. King s7, rook into g5 is the way. So king s6 and king h5. So you played king s6, then rook f6 check, king h5. Now if you play rook h8, what's happening? Actually, it is more good for black now. So king g4. So you have to be on defending side. You have to play rook f2 because now rook e2 is there, right? And then king g3 again. So it has to play rook f2, right? Rook f2, or I think if he plays rook c6, what can black do? Keep on the okay, fine. Rook into g5 check. So this position after rook c6, what can black do? King g1,
C2.
rook e2 check. If king g1, what you will do?
King f3.
King f1,
Rook e1.
rook e1, king into e1, rook g1 checkmate. So king g1, see there are, so rook h8 check, king g4, rook c6 is a blunder. Okay, rook c6, then rook e2 check, and it is force winning. So you have only, so one thing is, so you have to keep the rook here, okay? You can't play rook c6. So you have to cover the f5, or else it is very, a little bit tough. So here rook f2 or rook c8 should be played. Why can play rook to c8? Okay, he can play rook to c8. This should be easy. So anyhow, in this position, king h5, I played rook into g5 check. We took the exchange of the rooks. King into g5. Now the problem is your king, okay? So what do you think black, actually if black king is on d3 or anywhere, it was easy, easy win for black. Because you are cutting the king. Here our king is also far, that is the problem. So white played rook c6. Now black played, what should black play?
Rook e3.
Rook e3 only move. White played, what should white play here?
King g2.
King g2. Now king f4. What should white play?
Rook c4.
King rook c4.
King f2.
If rook c4, I will play king e5, no?
Then king f2.
That it is also correct. So white played king f2. So see white position. Okay, white has his rook behind the pawn. Yes, this is good. And black king is, the problem is black king is far. If black king was near the pawn, then it was easy. The good thing is white king is far, that is good. But black king should have been closer to the pawn. Then only it is a win. So here black played rook s3. Now we have to move the rook, no? Or else now rook c4 is the threat. What do you like play? Let's see like this. White to play. What should white play? King E2. Why?
So you have to make the king first.
Yeah, closer. So black played king E4. Now what should I do? It is simply flipped or draw, no? I mean, if you did or what happens when you are first you will cut the pawn. The pawn is ahead of the king. So now you can play king d1 also.
Rook d6.
Rook d6 is also, I think it's a draw.
Sir, rook e6.
If you play rook d6 cutting the king, that should be. But what is the problem with rook d6? What will black play?
Rook h2.
King d1.
Find the only move to win for black.
Rook e3.
What happening with rook e3?
If king d1, then
Rook d3.
Rook d3. But king f2?
then rook d3.
Rook e3. What's happening is rook e3, king f2, again rook d3. Now what happens? You have cut the king. If you play rook e6, king d5. And if you play rook c6, then rook d2 and king d1. So let's say rook d2, king e1, now king d3. So this is winning for black. So rook d6 is a rook d6 is a blunder.
Sir, rook e6.
Rook
e6.
rook e6 should not be also good. Okay, rook e6 is still good. King d4. King d5.
Rook e3.
Just play rook e8 and do the checks. Okay. Simple, Or else you simply play king d1, no? It's over, no? Simple draw is king d1. If king d3, rook e8. So white played rook c4 check. King d5. Rook g4. So now he is cutting the king, right, in the rank. This is also one way. And we will bring our king before the pawn. That's it. We are cutting the king. So c2, king d2, rook c3. What is right play? King c1, only move. Rook c4, rook into c4, king into c4, and king into c4. Okay, Anna, what all you learned from this game?
How blacks slowly took advantage of the weak light squares and he missed the win, but it was winning for him because the squares were weak and he took advantage, so he attacked and in the last he just missed.
Okay. Sisika?
He did not properly make use of all his pieces. Like the rook on b8 was a little inactive. It did not join the attack.
Yes. So he should have played at the right time rook b6. He missed some attacking ideas, right? Rook b6, rook e6 or queen g4 was good for black, right? What more?
So black made a decision where to exchange and not to exchange.
So black made the right exchange, right decisions. Yes. Sir? So where all you saw the exchanges?
So when the queen
Yes. When the white was trying to play, white was trying to exchange, he did not exchange, and he did not play knight e4 also. At the right time, he exchanged. When the knight was blockading the pawn, he played knight d5. And one more important point was when the b5 c4 pawns were there, right? When the when the position was on the queen side, when he had the passers and the opponent was blocking. So this was principle of two weaknesses. When you have a weakness on one side, you should also try to create one more weakness to win. You only want to play on the queen side, you can't win, right? There there what he played h5, h4 idea was good. And what happened after h5? What did White play? What he missed?
h4
He played h4. So what happened? So the h pawn, like in how in e4 e5 setups I say the h pawn became the hook for the immediate attack, right? So h4, what happened? He went to g5 came. So h into g5, h4. Here, there also g into h4 was a. So G2 H4 was a mistake. Yes. So again, right. So you all did good job actually. You all guessed correct moves for Alireza. Right. Good. Okay.